Good morning and welcome to The Art of Composition. Thanks for joining me today. I thought I would look at a Jim Serrett painting. I'm becoming a huge fan of his work, and I've been studying his work over the past 3 or 4 weeks. I came across Jim's work by doing a search on the harmonic armature. He uses it in everything he does. And I love this landscape. It's nothing complex in the sense of the scene itself, but when you analyze it using the harmonic armature, you can see exactly what he's doing. But before I draw out the armature, I just want to point out that you have a dominant horizontal line here, and then of course you have a dominant diagonal line here and here with the road, and then it leads back to this point here. And you have this nice curve or linear element right in here. Notice this. So it comes in here and then wraps around. But also notice you have the clouds and the diagonal lines derived from that, and that's coming from the armature as well. So let me draw that out and I'll show you what I mean. When I do these analyzations, I want to focus in on modern art, because it's fine to analyze the masters like Vermeer and Degas and so on, and I do that. But I think it's important to show how the modern artist is using it, because the modern artist wants to learn how to apply it to their own work. When I drop these two main diagonal lines here, notice how it's picking up this angle in the trees right here and here. This is deliberate. This is what's called formalizing. The artist will bend lines to match the diagonal lines, horizontal and vertical, in the armature. And this is the difference between photography, or one of the differences between photography and drawing and painting. Photographers can't do this. So even though design still applies in photography, they don't have the flexibility. And even when I drop down this line, you can see angles in here coming into play. When I drop this diagonal line here, it's picking up this angle here in the clouds. This is all deliberate. It's not random. And then when I drop this diagonal line here, you have this angle in there as well. So the artist is using the armature, the diagonal lines of the armature, as well as the divisions that are derived from those intersecting diagonal lines. As far as other master artists to study, I recommend Anna Rose Bain. I've been looking at her work for a few years now. Like I said before, I'm not sure if Anna Rose Bain uses dynamic symmetry, but she definitely uses the harmonic armature. And I also recommend, like I said, Thomas Kegler, Aristides, and I've been looking at Lee Coley White as well. I purchased her book a few weeks ago, and I've been analyzing her work, and she also uses the harmonic armature. They all do. All the classically trained artists today are using it. Don't be fooled by the fact that they don't talk about it. When I drop this diagonal line here, notice how it's following the path of the road. And then this diagonal line picks it up and it leads you back here. So you're coming in here and then following this back here. So the diagonal lines are giving the viewer direction in this landscape. I think this painting is fantastic. All right, so the armature is drawn out. This dominant horizontal line that I had mentioned before, that's coming from this series of intersecting diagonal lines right here. And I think I'm going to just convert this at this point. And I'm going to change this to yellow. Well, let's do that color today. Let me thin up that. It's a little bit too thick. All right, so that's your dominant horizontal line. But remember what I said about these diagonal lines in the trees. They're coming into play here. And you have a diagonal line being played out in this area here, and then here as well. So again, you can see the diagonal lines of the armature being played out, and here as well. So it's pretty obvious what's going on here. and this one here. It's also happening in the clouds right here and here as well. But the path of the road is coming in here, and then it goes back. Try that again. Wasn't too straight. And then it leads back here. But you also have a diagonal line being played out. I believe it's right here, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's coming around here and then going in that direction there. You also have a few horizontal divisions there. You have a vertical right here with this little area right in there. And then of course you can drive horizontals where it's topping off the trees. Remember, the artist can frame in elements in their composition, and this holds true in landscape as well. But I hope this makes sense. I'm not going to lay down too many lines today on this one because I want to keep it simple, but you get the idea of what's going on. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it, as always.